Good evening. I'm Lanisha Bailey, and I'm proud to welcome you to Optimism at RainierPrep. I graduated last year with RainierPrep's class of 2020 and now attend Summit Sierra. I'll be your host and MC for our first ever live stream fundraiser. So stick with me as we take a closer look to RainierPrep students, alums, and families, what we have accomplished and where we're headed. First, I'd like to thank all of RainierPrep supporters, especially our sponsors for this live stream. Amazon for their substantial support for this event, PNTA, and Seattle Lives for their studio work with us, Bryson Jones and Roscoe's Ranch. Now, where to begin? You don't need me to tell you that we're all experiencing some serious drama these days. But I'd like to share a bit of RainierPrep's own drama from the last few years. Our first school play started in our downstairs lunchroom with the Wizard of Oz, small and scrappy. Our teachers envisioned a school where students would guide almost everything we did, and there wasn't much of a yellow brick road to follow back then. We're building a school from the ground up, and we relied on each other to make it happen. When I arrived as a 5th grader in RainierPrep's second year, I learned how to take charge of a situation as the Queen of Hearts. And over the next 4 years, my classmates and I gained focus and listened and encouraged each other's unique voices. By the time I became an 8th grader, we were all choosing the kinds of humans we really wanted to be. The only thing I need from you is a little payment. In this case, your voice.
Her voice?
It's a little prize. It's a small prize, don't you think? Just a little tune, like a... and then I'll just place it right here. Come on. Oh, there's no. But it will make me come in. I'm waiting. Of course, this took some dedication of my teachers to pull all of this off. And I'm not saying their hard work didn't come with the cost, because it did. With talents made and talents discovered, our drama took place last year in a local professional theater. My classmates and I grew as a community to take center stage, demonstrating only a fraction of what we can do. Now, it's important to share the view of my fellow students can go. I'm proud to be with you to look more closely at the value of any student's voice. I want to encourage all students to see the fullest human potential. My RainierPrep education encouraged me to develop my voice. My school brought my classmates together to take a wider view of humanity, of justice and power, of problems and solutions, and of our mission to prepare all students to excel in college, to represent our communities in positions of leadership. So I want to share real optimism with you about what we can do together. My fellow students can inspire you as young activists and agents of change, not just in the making, but already at work. Now we're here to show you more about community's experiences, understandings, and judgments about our nation and our world. And we have some very serious decisions and actions to take. To share the kind of optimism with you, I'm happy to introduce you to one of RainierPrep's real leaders and one of my former drama teachers, Ms. Flores. She'll help set sights on success of every student and family that enters RainierPrep.
Thank you, Lanisha. I am Dinora Flores, and welcome to Optimism at RainierPrep. I joined RainierPrep fully committed to the vision that our students will become leaders in our communities. Our students show me every day that education, access to resources, and community strength can impact people's lives no matter where they come from. For example, I know that Jamal, one of our 5th graders, will tell himself that he can do this when we work on his math goals. As I saw Tati do as a 7th grader high-five me when she wrote her persuasive essay last year. At RainierPrep, I'm part of a team that has been building the future alongside families, students, and our community. What I really want you to see, and where our focus really needs to be, is on the vision that our families and our students themselves have on our past, present, and future. They know how education is changing their lives, and they have bravely raised their voices to let our communities, state, and nation know it.
I am one of the 180 students who believed in the school before we even had a building, and whose life changed the moment we came together to form our school community. RainierPrep has been a sanctuary for me. Every morning, my school leader personally welcomes me with a handshake and a smile on her face. Our teachers have high expectations and push us every day to do our best. They get to know you for who you are in your heart. They know our strengths and our passions and where we need individual support. At RainierPrep, we have students and teachers from diverse religions, cultures, traditions, and races. These differences are celebrated, not suppressed. I was born in Mexico. I'm also indigenous. I speak Spanish, Purepecha, and English. As a youth member of a community that experiences immigration issues and gun violence, I am used to feeling powerless about policies beyond my control. This year, I've lost a friend and neighbor to gun violence. Now I face losing my school, my sanctuary. My ELA teacher told me, be part of the solution, not the problem. He gave me that extra push and that extra motivation I needed. At RainierPrep, I'm forming my identity as a scholar and an activist. Today's not my first time in Olympia. I have come to demonstrate for Washington to be a sanctuary state, and I've been to DC twice to talk to senators about passing the DREAM Act. Now I'm back in Olympia to fight for the one place in my life where I feel safe, my school and my education. I never thought I had the responsibilities or the tools to fight for my civil rights and my education, especially in middle school. I will fight until my family gets the rights, my community gets the rights, and until every student has the option to attend to an excellent public school like RainierPrep.
RainierPrep's mission is to prepare students to excel in 4-year degree programs and become leaders in their communities. And our students have always demonstrated a particular aptitude for excellence and leadership. Just 2 weeks after opening our doors 6 years ago, families like Aliana's and Martin's had to fight for their school in the face of really tough opposition right from the start. But their siblings and cousins would see for themselves what a quality education was all about. A RainierPrep student has always understood that education, advocacy, diversity, equity, and speaking out for choice and justice are bound together. Collectively, RainierPrep students have been making their views on school crystal clear with elected leaders and visitors who have been able to interact with our students. But our nation is at a pivot point where individuals as well as communities can choose to see the barriers faced by communities of color and choose listening, seeing, solidarity, and action, or not. We've been ready for just this moment from the beginning, because this public charter school has always sought to understand and amplify what our students see and want. Because of these students and those who follow them. Because of the teachers who inspire young activists and agents of change for the good. Because we work for equity and justice with optimism together. Years ago, when the much younger Eileen and Anais accompanied Aliana and Martin to RainierPrep, this family was just beginning with the idea of what a high-quality education could do. But now, years later, please hear what they have to say about growing up and seeing themselves differently, as scholars, as friends, and as leaders.
I would always need special attention or more help than the other students. And when I got to RainierPrep, I would have more help one-on-one with teachers, or I would go with small groups that would actually help me on what I needed instead of what I already had.
They didn't really give me help at all. Like, my mom would try to talk to the teachers and ask if they can give me help, but they didn't really give me help and stuff. But now when I came here, I actually like concentrate now, and people thought like I couldn't actually be in a whole class with people, a lot of people. But now I actually can now.
Wow.
And they thought I couldn't, but I can now.
Because I wasn't used to having teachers understanding me or helping me. Because I would have, in the other school, it was just like, oh, you need to take your own minute and think about it. And then like when they would think I was ready to come back, they would just tell me, okay, you're done. You can go back doing your work. They wouldn't come and ask me or have a conversation with me on their own.
Instead of like getting mad a lot, like I use fidgets now because I came to RainierPrep and they didn't give me stuff like that. And I used to get hecka mad, but I actually don't get that mad no more because you guys give me like fidgets and stuff. And
that does help a lot, because I remember when I used to be in 5th and 6th grade, I would have Miss Wheeler in the hallway with Surfa, but I would go stay with her during my buddy classrooms, and she would have putties to let me talk about it to her, and then I have putties at the same time, so it would help me relax. And after that, they would just give me putties and that stuff to help relax, and it did work. So I can see it worked for you too.
Yeah, actually weird.
Well, I see that I've changed and people look up to me because some of my friends would ask me like, oh, would you help me with my work? Or like before they wouldn't ask me, but now they ask me, can you help me with my work, or do you have time to tell me what this means? I have more time now that I'm actually more organized, and that I understand how to talk to teachers now, like not talk back anymore.
How many people in your family have gone through RainierPrep?
So it's Natalie, Aliana, Martin, Fabi, and then now it's me, Gio, Emmanuel, and Anais. So 8. And then Gio's cousins go to that school too, so that's +3, so that's 11. We have got a lot of support from the school and the teachers. We definitely got a lot of support from Miss Mo and you guys, from like the high school stuff with Aliana and Natalie and Isaac and Fabi, and then we're going to definitely get a lot of help from you guys this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like the two of you are able to offer a lot of help to your classmates now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RainierPrep is actually like students like us would say that we wouldn't like RainierPrep, but like after RainierPrep can change kids. It did change me. It changes students to have more respect for themselves and others.
And like going to, how do you say it, like to 9th grade and like getting ready to 9th grade and 10th grade for Eileen.
Yeah.
It helps us prepare ourselves for the bigger world than our little small lives that we have right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
A safe community and a safe environment for them to be able to share what they need to do, or being able to be safe around their community, just to walk, or like have a person just to talk to if they need to.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there for us.
My pleasure.
I hope you can see that it's our students who create the view of their peers and the next generation. Now, I'm happy to introduce a leader who continues to build on this dream, seeking to amplify the strengths of those around her. Our school leader, Maggie O'Sullivan.
Gino. Thank you, Dino and Linesha. and welcome to Optimism at RainierPrep. I want to thank you for being here, and I'm going to ask you to give generously, to support teachers like Ms. Flores and students like Lanisha, and to support the critical transformation of young minds, hearts, and spirits that are 100% possible in our community when we choose to work together. Now, we are talking about what happens in middle school, so I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit and leave it to one of our scholars to motivate us as we consider the challenges ahead.
It shall be easy. And while some of us may think otherwise, just know, don't think that happens. Isn't what is up here? It's what is. So, while doing this test, remember, our day is next week, so we about to get lit, okay? We ain't taking no more tests. Then we go into camp.
While his vice is humorous, his message is serious. Our students have always had a lot to show for what's up here, so let's take a look at that first. Charter schools are sometimes criticized for skimming kids who are already high performing, but our data consistently shows both high levels of growth and high levels of mastery. This graph represents our Smarter Balance results in English language arts and shows that year over year, 50% of our students achieve high growth compared with 25 to 28% at similar schools. You can see that the high growth pattern is even higher in math. Since its inception, RainierPrep has sought to be a positive disruption in the public education space, showing what's possible. And our results speak for themselves. Our students are achieving tremendous growth because of their time at RainierPrep, no matter what measure you use. In this year of tremendous uncertainty, two things remain certain for me. The incredible pride I feel in our school community, and the anger I feel at the substantial inequities that young people of color face in this very community. Unfortunately, our Latinx and Black students in Washington State's public schools are significantly underperforming compared to their white and Asian peers. But at RainierPrep, Black and Latinx students are learning and achieving. Let's take a look at math and science in particular, at double, even triple the rates of the local schools. Because of this, their advancement into high school, college, career networks, and someday positions of leadership is more attainable. Traditionally underrepresented in STEM careers, our students will be prepared to access those opportunities. More than ever, even in this minute, during our live stream, database decision-making and our nation's commitment to reason with science are debated. See for yourself, now in our 6th year, RainierPrep has been fulfilling our promise to provide a high-quality education, challenge, and a pathway to college and leadership that every young mind deserves. Quality education does create real change and hope. But despite our strong academic performance, the explicit choices of our families, including more than 100 students on the wait list, why does a school like ours need to fundraise? As a public charter school, we cannot access local levy dollars that support traditional district schools. This means that every one of our 350 plus young scholars loses $2,600 a year. This year, that's about $900,000, for a running total of our time at about $5 million. We operate a school with exceptional fiscal management on roughly $11,000 per pupil. District schools, $15,000. It was the families in White Center, SeaTac, and Burien who wanted a middle school. And they have stood with us through every challenge, even constitutional challenges, and there were a few, to become that critical force, that positive disruption in the public education space that we so deeply need. Our family, staff, and board, our partners have spent so much time, asking our legislators for a funding solution, and to acknowledge and respect the achievements of our community. We are still seeking that equal funding. So I'm asking you to focus on equity in education for all students, but especially for our students of color, and most especially so that those students receive the space, time, and opportunity to thrive and decide for themselves how they will be part of the solution.
I can see so many people from Generation Z becoming young leaders, doing good things. And I also see people from Generation Z who honestly don't care of what will happen to this world, and they will pay for that. Because right now, I don't know where my generation is headed. But if I'm a part of that generation, I have to do my part in order to make sure that I'm going to be making sure that this generation is going to a safe place. Because if it's not, it's going to affect everyone. And that includes people that I care about, people that I love, and that's not right. And I have to make sure, if I'm a part of this generation, I have to do whatever I can to make sure it's headed to the right way. But where this generation's gonna go, I don't know. But I'm gonna try to do my best to steer it in the right direction.
Tinbeat and her classmates are ready to do their part. So why not do our part? Especially when you might wind up working with someone like Tinbeat. RainierPrep has high expectations and provides high support for our students, from the application to day 1 of 5th grade, all the way through 8th grade and beyond, as in the case of students like Frida. Everyone who supports RainierPrep has provided our community with equitable access to the resources that every young mind deserves to thrive. Not only that, but in supporting us, you are partnering with a growing network of accomplished, motivated, talented, imaginative young advocates. When students like Frida are given the opportunity, they take it. They shine. They leave middle school advocating for themselves to be in honors placement classes and to get you to vote. And they don't give up until they get there. Our vision is to create lifelong partners who advocate for themselves and participate in democracy. Our students have helped to shape that vision because they know that their friends and networks can be a critical part of the change we wish to see. I cannot imagine a greater responsibility of a quality public education than right now, to amplify the attentiveness, intelligence, reason, and responsibility of our young citizens as they look towards their future. So right now, I'm encouraging you to make your own difference by supporting a school community that has the results to show for it. To do all that, you have to show up to learn. And no surprise, our students are showing up and learning. Our online attendance over the last month has been 95%. Why? Because we showed up to teach every day last spring. In that first weekend in March, when school closed, our school staff secured your support to provide Chromebooks. While board members got us hotspots and Kindles, within 1 week, our teachers were providing synchronous learning for all students. It was hard. It's still really hard. But our teachers challenged themselves to learn new skills to serve students and families in this rapidly changing context. COVID has tragically silenced too many voices, but not the voices of Ms. Berner Hayes and Mr. Augustine students as they studied the pandemic and our nation's response. Our streets would ring out strong and true, amplifying that Black Lives Matter and demanding an end to state-sanctioned violence against Black people. And our online classes became the avenues for students to work together, facing history, actually being history. As Denora Flores showed you before, they've been making history for years. This past summer, we doubled our summer programming, and we encouraged our scholars to partner with us as pioneers in this new normal by focusing on their strengths. And because we've always believed our students were assets, advocates, and partners in their own education, we've learned a lot from them. Every day, in fact. We named this online gathering Optimism because the more we're looking at our students, the more there is to magnify. The more we're listening to our families, the more there is to amplify. Let's listen as Kozar Hassan, our advocate for families and community, talks about our families and their resilience.
What's important is meeting families where they are. And so just valuing their story and listening to why they chose RainierPrep and walking them through the process. And I think that's what makes me unique. It's just I meet people where they are and just help them. We are working hard. I think that and we are committed to our mission. We're showing up every day, and I feel like that's what's important, that our teachers are showing up every day despite what's going on, and they provide them a safe space to continue to grow and learn. Our families are facing a lot of barriers, especially now we're in the middle of a pandemic. Most of our students are Hispanic and Black students, and those are the populations that are really hit hard. And so despite all the things they're dealing with, they prioritize their child's education. When they chose RainierPrep, they saw the mission and the promises that we've made. And I see a commitment from our parents. Despite everything they're facing, they still attended family meetings. They still managed to learn how to log in. I mean, you can't believe how many families called me. How do I access Zoom link? How do I do this? How do I attend Google Meet? Like, a lot of our families are willing to learn, and they're deeply passionate about, because they want a better future for their child. They want to see them have options. They want them to be the next leaders. And I see that they're committed despite everything they're facing. I think that they prioritize their child's education. And I think that's something that I would want you to know. Each of our family is very committed, and they just want to see a better future for their child, especially now. Yeah.
All of our actions have consequences, and I'm proud that you are joining us to see what happens when a community partners and works together. As Lainisha said, there's no yellow brick road, but that doesn't mean we don't have a pathway. So I thank you for giving to RainierPrep and for joining in the work for racial equity and for the transformation of young minds, hearts, and spirits for a future of optimism, excellence, and leadership. I thank my colleagues, past and present, talented human beings who've given so much of themselves to build this school community and to focus on what's possible. Finally, I want to thank our families for their trust in us. So it's an honor to invite one of our parents to the stage, Shonda, to come up and join me to share her perspective as a RainierPrep parent. Shonda, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
I would just like to say that my experience was very exciting, overwhelming at times, but I felt very supported. They made sure my daughter was ready for the next level. Her spending the last 4 years there was a challenge for her also. She didn't like my decision at first, but I think she appreciates it now. I feel like me and the principal and the other teachers became really close friends, and she also hated that. But I really feel like they developed her as a young woman for her to succeed in life, and I just really liked my experience. I mean, it was really well supported.
Thanks, Shonda. Can you maybe tell us about a tricky time? You know, I think middle school is really tough as a parent. That you could tell our audience about?
There's quite a few. I think.
Of course, it's middle school.
Well, Lainisha is my only child, so therefore I'm a little bit overprotective at times, and I think we've also had a few one-on-one meetings. But I feel like just encouraging her to be her. I mean, she's always been different, but I've always tried to teach her that there was no difference. So they allowed her to be her. They let her explore her and develop into a great person. I think there's been challenges where kids were trying to, one day I picked her up and she said they were trying to be all against her, like they didn't allow all the back and forth and the negative to be at school. And I think it was just a good experience. I don't know what to say. Okay, it was a good experience.
Definitely. Well, we really appreciate you, Shauna, sharing your perspective. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Got it?
Do you want to add?
Oh, I think that letting your child go to a charter school versus a regular public school is your decision, but make sure that you explore all options. I thought this would not be a good experience, but versus the public school, I think it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? And it allows you and the teacher to be more involved with the kid and not I don't feel like she got lost in the system versus a bigger school. And I really feel like they just encouraged her to achieve her goals. And I really like that they do set out goals and she has to achieve them or make efforts towards them to even pass to the next grade. And I also feel like just encouraging her in and out of school. She participated in a lot of different activities out of school. Her teachers were there. I really feel like there was no room to slack because she knew that me and her teachers were friends. So I really feel like it was just a great experience. And I really feel like I hope that you guys support it the best way you can and just try to learn more about it, because in the long run, I think there'll be more of these popping up. And I really appreciate everything that this experience has taught me. So,
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. And we're joining together tonight as partners in one of the most important investments of our time. Our nation will find a way forward, and our students and students like Lanisha and students across the country are going to be part of that solution, but only if we all take some part in creating that pathway forward, as one of our alums suggests.
It's your life, and you got to realize that when you think that's the only thing that matters, what other people think or say about you, it doesn't affect your own life. So as long as you control what you can, then you will live your life fully, you know? As long as you don't pay attention to the negativity or really show them that you are thinking about what they say, you'll be successful in your life. So take your time to perfect your craft. And once you do that, make sure it benefits not only you, but everybody. You got to have a purpose in life. And I feel like as long as it helps other people, then you're doing things right, So just try to do whatever you can to change the world so that the next generations will be affected.
Relationships and personal connection have always been central to how RainierPrep works, and our community has become closer, especially when that closeness counts. If you are able to contribute tonight to RainierPrep, we are grateful. Your support sustains our resilient community for the work ahead. And I believe it's our common responsibility to amplify the experiences, vision, and purpose of our young, optimistic network of scholars and leaders. But whether you bring companionship, partnership, friendship, or sponsorship, thank you for taking the time to be here with us, to understand what can be done right now to create positive change.
If you are inspired, engaged, and empowered by seeing and hearing our students and their hopes, please share RainierPrep's story with your own networks and friends. Understand why and how you can work for equity and justice. Keep talking about this in your own community.
We are history in the making. We have a long way to go, and schools are a critical part of that history and our future. I think we can all push our schools to better serve our students like my daughter and parents like me.
And act. We all have a role to play. My character Ursula knew it as well. You want to be a human? It comes with the price of your voice. So thank you for using our voice and your humanity. With your support, RainierPrep will be around for a long time to provide many families with the mission, vision, and opportunities to succeed. Now, I want to encourage all of us to keep optimism going whenever and however we can. Sadly, it's time to wrap this up. So goodbye, and have a nice night. What are you thankful for?
Cantaloupe.
Lanisha, what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for my mom, and I'm thankful for my dad. I'm thankful for my grandma, my grandpa. I'm surely thankful for my mom because she gives me all the shoes and all the clothes.
For my whole family, and especially my husband and my 3 kids. And I'm really thankful for my awesome job at RainierPrep and getting to work with everybody here.
Thank you. What are you guys thankful for?
We are thankful for our friends.
What are you guys thankful for?
We are thankful for our friends.
What are you guys thankful for?
We are thankful for our friends.
The thing that I'm mostly thankful and grateful for is family and friends, because they've always been here and they've always been supporting me and helping me through the hard times.
Thank you. What are you thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful for the world, and I'm thankful for food and everything that we have, and Takis and hot Cheetos, because I love those, so yeah.
What are you thankful for?
I am thankful right now for all of the 8th graders because it is truly amazing to see how much growth they've made from 5th grade to 8th grade, and they're genuinely just really fun to be around. So I'm excited for the rest of the year and seeing how ready they are to go.
Nahum, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my mom providing me with food every night, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack.
¿De qué está agradecida?
Estoy agradecida de ser parte de RainierPrep, de estar con todos estos niños.
What are you guys thankful for?
My friends. I'm thankful for this community that is very supportive in our learning and helps us a lot. Yeah.